And oh, yeah, okay, we're live now. All right, Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Back today with a live streamer joining me to in week 2 go through some of the games and go through a bit of Warriors news as well. The before jumping on. Yeah, looking for this discussion with you to chat about the NRL finals week 2. But how's it going? Hold the ball. Hope you're all going well. But yeah, it's going to be a good discussion today.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. And again, this is Hold the Ball, HCB. Looking forward to today. It's going to be some good discussions. And again, bear with me as I wear the Warriors gear. I know we're not in the finals, but look, I just thought I'd wear it anyway. So, yeah, looking forward to it. So, should be good. Oh, I think he's left us now. That's all good. So quickly, Fanatics and I, we're going to be discussing all things NRL. I think we'll also be recapping, giving our own sort of opinions on it, as well as I think sort of like a brief look into the NRL sort of games coming up next week. So definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, it should be a pretty good discussion. I'm sure there'll be some Warriors chat along the way as well, which will be good. So looking forward to it.
Yep. So let's get into it. So look, 2 games on the Panthers over the Parramatta Eels. Panthers winning 8 points to 6, and the Manly Seagulls. I think it was I'll quick have a look at the score here. I think Manly were too good there for the 42 to 6. Thanks Hold the Ball for that. But 2 very interesting games. We had Manly way too good there for the Sydney Roosters there. But first thoughts on the Roosters Manly game. What did you think of that game first?
Yeah, look, just quickly, I guess the game overall it was basically a training run, wasn't it? They definitely answered back from that loss against Melbourne Storm. Tom Trbojevic was on fire. Look, it's one of those games where obviously they're versing a team that probably is not on the same level as the Melbourne Storm. They took advantage of it. Now the next question is, can they do it against the Rabbitohs and then sort of progress from there? But overall, it was a good game. If you're a Roosters fan, well, you're sort of proud of the season anyway. But if you're a Manly fan, well, yeah, you're looking forward to what should be a very fiery contest next week.
Were too good. We had, you saw Tommy Trbojevic, the critics, after a quiet week the previous week in the finals against Melbourne. We saw the likes of, Daly Cherry Evans have a good game as well. All the key players, main players, stood up for them. So, yeah, it was a good performance by the Manly Seagulls. And the Roosters, they could be very proud of their lots of injuries, and they've done very well to part into the finals. And, yeah, no doubt they'll be very hard to beat with a fully strength team. And, it's going to be interesting to see, how they go next year, because, they'll be definitely contenders next year, the Roosters. So, yeah, that was, one-sided game, pretty one-sided game. Just too good there for the Sydney Roosters. And they take on the South Rabbitohs this week, which will be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. On to the Penrith Panthers Parramatta Eels game. Now, I thought this was the game of the finals for me. We haven't had too many good finals games so far, but I think this was the game of the finals for me. But Parramatta Eels versus Penrith Panthers game, I know there was a lot of Parramatta supporters, not happy with the officiating in this game. Penrith's defence pretty much won it for them. But, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, look, obviously this game was a pretty good game. I also thought the week prior, the Titans and Roosters, there was probably another game you could probably say that was also, worthy of those accolades. Just to go back to this game here, look, you mentioned that. That's right. The referees, I think, to a degree, and the bunker probably played, or if anything, didn't play a part in officiating some sort of calls. But in saying that, I do think it went 50-50 both ways. But obviously, there's that one incident where Luai sort of holds Mitchell Moses back, and I think ruined a bit of attack there. But going back to the game overall, it was a both those teams threw everything at each other. Yeah, like you said, it was defense that won it for the Penrith Panthers, and the last points scored were quite literally in the first half. So again, what an awesome game to watch. And I'm looking forward to the Panthers and Storm next week.
Yeah, I thought this look over the last weeks. I think their attackers have been great, and I'm not too sure why their attack's not as great as it used to was at the start of the season. Their attack was on fire. We know they're defensively very good. They're one of the best defensive teams. And they're coming up against a team that can score a lot of points. It's the Melbourne Storm. They can score from anywhere across the park. You've got Pappenhausen, you've got Addo Carr, you've got all those great players. Brandon Smith. You've got some very good players in Melbourne Storm. So Penrith, they will need to up their game and step up massively. Otherwise, it could be all gone in the first couple of minutes of the game. So, yeah, look, I thought Panthers did enough to win the game. The Parramatta Eels are going to give them credit, though, because, as flat Penrith attack was, Parramatta, they made it very, very difficult, and, full credit to them. I think for the Panthers, pretty good standout players. Cleary had a good game, but for Parramatta, I think Moses had a pretty good game as well. So, yeah, I think Penrith did enough to win that game. They're defending there, but yeah, so far, that was a good win for them to move on to week 3 of the finals. But any last thoughts about those two games before looking ahead?
Yeah, look, I'll probably just sort of maybe even ask you the question: should we look at some of the weaknesses of the Manly team and the sort of Penrith team heading into the week after, or give opinions of their weaknesses?
Let's do that.
Yeah. So obviously Manly made it through. So I'll touch on Manly first, and then maybe you go after. So with Manly, one of their weaknesses for me, I think, heading into the Rabbitohs next week is that sole reliance on Tom Trbojevic. Without Tom Trbojevic, to be quite honest, they're obsolete. They're not the Manly we know. So again, considering that everything is based around him and how he feels and how he performs, that to me is one of the good things about the team, but it's also one of the bad things. One of the not so good things. Another sort of weakness for them, I think anyway, is unfortunately it can be sometimes DCE and I think Fozza. So Foreign, I think, is sort of there as well. But sort of like their halves, because they can be either on or off. That Melbourne game is a prime example. When they're not on, it literally ruins it for everyone. Because I almost don't think like the Manly forwards can really go forward without the halves or Trbojevic. That's my opinion. Whereas you've got other teams that can go forward and a strong sort of forward pack. I think the forwards in Manly rely a lot on their halves as well as Tom Trbojevic. But that is sort of like my thoughts and their weaknesses anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say, with if Tommy Trbojevic, if South Sydney Rabbitohs do have a game plan to shut him down, also lots of Garrick, Sab as well, and if Cherry Evans doesn't have his best game, Manly are just they're not there, they're not there, because you saw that in week 1 of the final. Melbourne, they did a great work. They had a very good game plan to keep all Manly's key players quiet. That's thing for Manly. They need all their key players to make sure they can back up that performance from this week, from last week in this game against the Rabbitohs, because the Rabbitohs, they've got players from across the park that can do anything. So, you got with the Rabbitohs, you've got Cody Walker, Adam Reynolds, and you got the young fullback and Taff as well. And Manly, they need to make sure that all the key players have a game. Because if they can themselves to win it. So, yeah, weakness for me with Manly, is whether their key players can stand up each for the following week, whether they can back up the performance for me. But to those some of the comments here, says Manly versus Storm Grand Final, which is a very interesting prediction there. I think Manly could possibly do it, but right now I'll still say Souths. Right now on the fact that they've had the week off. But what are your weaknesses for the South strengths and weaknesses for the South Sydney Rabbitohs?
Yeah, look, for them, I think obviously their weakness is mainly strength, and that's the fullback area. Though granted, Blake has performed well,
Yep.
I believe. Still up against Tom Trbojevic, this is a whole different kettle of fish. Another sort of thing for me personally is I think their weakness is their backs. Defensively, anyway, I think I don't think they've got the best sort of structure to defend well up against really good attacking backs. They're not the best defenders of Rabbitohs, I don't think, anyway. Probably like another one of their weaknesses too is sometimes Tom Burgess. Now, sometimes he can have that really good game where he leads the boys up front, and he's one of the big burly men who does the job. And then some weeks he literally drops the ball about 10 to 20 times a game. So again, it sort of depends on what sort of game he has and how the boys sort of revolve around him. But again, like I said, the fullback positioning, the backs on defense is a weakness of theirs. And again, just how their forward pack, particularly how Tom Burgess performs, I think will be critical for them moving forward.
Yep, yeah, fair point there. For me, Rabbitohs, their strength is, their halves, Cody Walker and Adam Reynolds. Cody Walker's had a great season. Adam Reynolds is very experienced. He knows how to get up his team in a big game, a finals game. So, they're key players for me for the Rabbitohs. Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker, their halves are a bit of a strength there. And then you got Damien Cook. Look, I think Damien Cook's had a pretty quiet year by his standards, but you've got South's got so many good players across the park. So I think Damien Cook needs to step up a bit more. I think he's having a pretty quiet season. And then you've got, the likes of the outside backs of Alex Johnston, good players as well. So yeah, South Sydney, they've got a lot of strengths. They've also got some weaknesses as well, which, I think South's with us, they've just got to make sure they, play like they played, all season long. So yeah, they've got plenty of strengths and weaknesses in their team, both teams. But moving on. But to the Melbourne Storm. Now, the Melbourne, what do you think? Strengths and weaknesses. We know Melbourne Storm. To be honest, they don't have too many weaknesses. It's hard to find a weakness in Melbourne Storm. It's easy to find the strength. But what are your strengths and weaknesses for the Melbourne Storm ahead of the game against Penrith?
Yeah, look, just quickly before I go there, just quickly on the Rabbitohs, another sort of interesting scenario for them is hypothetically, say they do beat Manly. It's interesting because then you sort of think, then can they do it without Latrell Mitchell? So again, just food for thought there. Is he really that big of an impact player as we make him out to be? Now, again, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying the fact that if they can still go on without him, him being suspended, that is, yeah, sort of brings a bit of questions, and probably they may work better without him. Obviously, they'll miss that X factor, but I mean, they almost seem like a better organized, structured team, especially defensively. Though they don't have that spark in attack, defensively they seem to be, probably like a better team, I think. Anyway, the Rabbitohs. So yeah, as we move on to the Storm, look, I guess if I'm just going to go for their strengths first. From 1 to 13, all elite, quite literally. The only issue maybe for them, like every single player you mentioned, Munster through to Adokar, Nelson Asofa Solomona, Galfusi, Brandon Smith, Hughes, Raymond Smith. I mean, every single one of them, they're just elite. Their weakness, unfortunately, is the team that lost against the Penrith Panthers. So that's it, man. That's it. There's no more kryptonite. I think it's all ready for them, man. Like quite literally, what is their weakness? I don't know. How do you penetrate a team that you can't penetrate, that you can't? I don't know. It's I don't know. Maybe miracles, maybe is their weakness. Who knows? We got to wish for some miracles. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think, I need to really go through your whole strengths. It's pretty much your whole team for me. There's not too many weaknesses there. You could say if you look at how Parramatta played against the Storm, they beat them twice this year. So got to remember that Parramatta did, show the game plan to beat the Melbourne Storm. I know Parramatta went out in that week too, but, they found a game plan to beat them. And I think if Penrith, if they want to look back on those games, that Parramatta played against Melbourne. So maybe at those games, to give an idea of where they can get weaknesses out of the Melbourne Storm. But obviously you got to throw the ball around, throw some offloads, just play offload football. Melbourne just don't offload football. They're so structured the way they play, and you got to do that. Throw the ball around, make it hard for the Melbourne Storm. Not play too structured, because Melbourne love the structured play of footy. So on to the what do you think this is for the Panthers going into this week's game?
Yeah, the strengths and weaknesses for the Penrith Panthers. Look, if I'm going to go in their strengths, I'll probably say it probably rests on a few individuals. Nathan Cleary is one. You could probably even argue a case for Moses Leota being another in the forward pack. You could even say Brian To'o. They don't have that collective sort of identity in terms of strength that the Storm do. They did originally, but for some reason, I think the Panthers have clearly fallen out of form. Look, that's about it for their strength. Probably Isaiah Yeo as well. Now, for the weaknesses, I think there's a lot of weaknesses for them, particularly the main points, the halves, I think in particular, especially when you're looking at Luai. Now, that combination between Cleary and Luai, I think is questionable. I don't think it's as strong as it was last year, and definitely not as strong this year. Luai seems to be playing some sort of footy that, to me, looks really disconnected from what Cleary's trying to do. I don't know. I don't think like the two are in sync. Another one as well of their weaknesses, I think, is their backs. I've said it time and time again. Edwards in particular is probably not the strongest sort of link you want as a fullback, but it is what it is. And another thing as well is I think now we all know James Fisher-Harris, I think, is probably the prop of the year in my opinion. He's played really well. However, I do believe, though, in the last couple of weeks, particularly into the finals, he's dropped his form a bit. I'm not too sure why that is, but I think he's dropped form. So I think some of the weaknesses, just some of the, Fisher-Harris as well as Kikau, two of your big players there have dropped form. And just one more sort of strength just quickly for the Penrith Panthers. David Tapangai Jr. as well, just coming off the bench. I think he's been superb for the Penrith Panthers in the finals.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, great. For me, look, Panthers, their strengths, lie in the halves of Cleary and Luai. You've got Brian To'o. I'm not too sure what the situation there is on To'o, because, he got ruled out last week. I'm pretty sure he will play this week. They really need him. So I think he will play. He'll be named on Tuesday afternoon for Teamless Tuesday. So all those players, Fisher-Harris as well. You've got the Army Kickouts, Isaiah Yeo. You can pretty much name those players as key players. And you've also got the likes of Moses Leota as well. So, the weakness for me, for Penrith, is the outside backs. And I believe Melbourne Storm have better outside backs than Penrith. You got the likes of Dylan Edwards up against Ryan Pappenhausen for me. No contest, Ryan Pappenhausen easily for me. And you got the likes of, Addo Carr as well, Addo Carr. And you've got someone else there. I'm trying to figure.
Well, it depends. It depends on who they have there.
I think it was
usually
Naden.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, usually Naden or Crichton. Just depends.
Yeah, it does. Yep. Naden. Yep. Crichton. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. No, I think Melbourne have a wood there on the outside backs department over Penrith. The forwards, Penrith, their forwards are all right. They can match it with the Melbourne Storm forwards, but the likes of Nelson Asafa Solomona, you've got, all those players. So, yeah, just a quick look here in the comments. Jack Douglas has asked your thoughts on the Roosters season.
Yeah, my sort of thoughts on it just quickly. Superb, I think. Again, given the situation, given the circumstances, we all know about them. I think they can hold their head up high, and I expect, unfortunately, as a Warriors fan, I expect some really good things for them next season. So they should be proud of their season. Well done to the Roosters.
Yep, exactly. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think they'll be, as much as I don't want to say it, but I think they'll be there next year. They'll be contenders next year for sure. Roosters, they've got they'll miss some players obviously, but they'll still got the likes of Trent Robinson as a coach. They've still got Walker. Walker will have another second year to equip himself to the NRL as well. So you've still got some players there for the Roosters, and I think they'll be got Luke Keary as well coming back. Also, don't forget. So yeah, they'll be there next year for sure. The Sydney Roosters.
And just quickly, if I can add as well,
team,
I think we forget about. And just another thing we forget about the Roosters is obviously some of their players that have retired and all that stuff. They've got a massive war chest as well. So we think that sombrero is, but you just wait till we see that treasure chest of theirs. So it's going to be all guns blazing.
Yep, exactly right. So yeah, look, that pretty much wraps up the part of where we talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, and look ahead for both teams ahead of the finals for week 3. Looking forward to 2 very good games. You've got the Panthers up against the Storm, and you've also got the Manly Seagulls up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. 2 very good games. Myself, and Hold the Ball have separate videos, tipping videos this week on his channel. And tomorrow night, got a two special guests joining me as well to do NRL tips for week 3 of the finals. And that is Sam Revel and Pro Enzo Vids.
That's nice.
Now, so it's just Pro Enzo Vids. Join me, myself, and Sam Revel and Pro Enzo Vids for the tips for week 3 of the finals tomorrow night. That'll be 7:30 Australia time, so around about 9:30 p.m. New Zealand time if you want to tune in for that one. So anyway, moving on now from the NRL finals, and there has been a bit of New Zealand Warriors news lately, so hold the ball. I'm getting thoughts on this. Look, there's been some news. We've had a lot of news lately. Actually, we've had the recent rumours on Ash Taylor, and we've had the recent awards. The Warriors have had the awards, and so first things first, we'll talk about the Warriors awards. I know that's happened a long time ago, weeks ago, but what are your thoughts on it? The Warriors awards and the players that won the awards. Tohu Harris picked up the Simon Mannering Medal for the Player of the Year. Reece Walsh, he picked up the Rookie of the Year. There's no surprises there. And you had Marcelo Montoya pick up Clubman of the Year for the season. So, what are your thoughts on the awards that the players won? And are you surprised with Harris picking up the Simon Mannering Medal?
Yeah, look, that okay, and another one as well is Adam Fanor-Blake, who won the Players Award, I believe it was as well. Look, with Tohu Harris only playing, I believe, 15 games, was it? 15, I think. I am actually pretty surprised, especially when you consider, I think, 1 or 2 of those games, too, he actually didn't even play. He actually went out injured, too. So if you put that into context, I am. Does it sort of sum up the Warriors season, though, that somebody who's played probably less game time wins an award? I'm not too sure. But, I'm sure he deserves it, yes. But, it is surprising. It is surprising. But in saying that, well, what do you sort of do? It's been an injury sort of a year anyway for a lot of players. Very happy about Marcelo Montoya, for winning the Clubman of the Year award. I thought that was great. Which shows you, again, the hard work that he's put in behind the scenes that we don't know. Because obviously, I'm sure when he first got signed, we're sort of thinking, oh, okay, well, yeah, whatever. And then he's just proved game in, game out that he actually wants to, A, be there, and B, he's actually part of the team, and C, he can actually deliver. So it was actually really good to see. But, again, with the other awards, Adam Fanor-Blake and Walsh, kudos. Not surprised with Reece Walsh. I mean, come on, not even close. So, happy about it, pleased.
Yep, I think all of them totally deserve the awards. Huge congratulations to all of them. Adam Fanor-Blake on the Players Player of the Year award. I'll get that out. You also got Marcelo Montoya as well, the Clubman Player of the Year. Bruce Walsh, the Warriors Player of the Year for Rookie of the Year. Sorry, Warriors Rookie of the Year. And then you've got, from there on, So yeah, huge congratulations to those guys. They've done a great season and they totally deserve it. But also, you had also on the weekend, Reece Walsh, he got the RLPA, so that's the Rugby League Players Association Rookie of the Year as well. So huge congratulations to Reece Walsh as well on winning that RLPA Rookie of the Year. I've seen a lot of comments saying Sam Walker should have got it, but look, personally, I don't think Sam Walker. It was voted by the players. I'm going to say it. It's voted by the players. So people who said Sam Walker should win it, you're off your skin. So that I might be biased here, but Reece Walsh is, yeah. So yeah,
that's what I say to him. That's what I say to him.
A little bit, yeah. Because all these comments on social media, it's all I'm seeing is Walsh should not have got it, and Walker was robbed, and but it was voted by the players, so it's not voted by the the people in the media and all that. So, congratulations to Walsh is all I got to say. He totally deserves the RLPA Players Rookie of the Year. So good to Reece. Yeah, he's had a great season. It's great because he totally deserves it. There were probably moments this year and want to back. Some moments like goal kicking, but he'll get better. He'll improve and work on that in the off season going into next year. And he's got some very nice family members as well, which I was fortunate to meet at Seaver Super Stadium for the last game of the season. So very lucky, very fortunate that I got to meet one of Reece Walsh's family members. Great people, and that's what I wonder where Reece gets it from. He gets it from his family. So yeah, huge congratulations there. Anyways, moving on from that aside, Ash Taylor. Now, I did a video today talking about it. I did a video, if you want to check that on the channel, go check that. I gave my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on it personally? When I heard this come out, I didn't warm to the task of it, and I'm still not too sure what to think of it. Personally, for Ash Taylor coming to the Warriors next year, and the likes of O'Sullivan, being let go by the club, the likes of, maybe CHT, not too going, but what are your thoughts on it personally?
Yeah, look, just again, I sort of touched on this yesterday, but look, the Ash Taylor signing is interesting. Obviously, it's at a lot cheaper rate. So, from a business stance point, that's a great buy for the Warriors. Obviously, you save money, you get a 26-year-old. The other sort of the spectrum there is obviously, again, potentially having Sean O'Sullivan released. I'm not sure if it's been officially announced. But again, sort of with Ash Taylor, the only hope I think anyway with him is sort of what can he bring internally as opposed to what he can bring on the field? Is he going to come at the Warriors with drive, with an attitude that wants to progress? Is he going to come in that sort of thing, or is he going to still be the same lackluster player that he has been? I don't want to say this, but for the last 4 years. So again, you're sort of looking at it from that sort of dynamic and perspective and seeing what happens from there. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly right. And Pro Enzo Vids has how's it going, Pro Enzo Vids? Thanks for tuning in. Look, I did a short video talking about it, giving my thoughts on it. So far, it's only just a rumor reported in the media. Make what you make. Look, I think Ash Taylor. Look, let's be honest. He hasn't really proven he's worth the money. He's on 1 million a season, Ash Taylor at the Titans, and he hasn't really delivered on those expectations. And I think maybe that comes with the pressure, of being that $1 million player. So, yeah, look, at the moment, all I can say is it's a rumor. It's sounding like it's going to happen from what I'm hearing. It's actually going to happen because Sean O'Sullivan apparently was offered a contract. He was offered a contract for what I'm being told, and he turned it down. So maybe the club did want him, but Sean O'Sullivan wants to go in a new direction. I'm not too sure about that one, but from what I've heard there, Sean O'Sullivan was offered a contract, and he's turned it down. So, yeah, which is which is a pity. It's a shame because I think Sean O'Sullivan's had a great season personally, and he's shown why he can be a backup option in the halves there. When we've had injuries, he's come in and stepped up and had a great year. Actually, he's been playing too many games, but he's really shown he can fill in the gap there in Sean O'Sullivan. So whatever club signs him next, I'd say good luck to him and wish him all the best. It's a pity because I would have loved him to stay at the club, but it is what it is at the end of the day. If he doesn't want to stay, then it is what it is. So but any last thoughts on that one? With Sean O'Sullivan, got Harris Tavita as well, which is still up in the air. It's still up in the air.
Yeah, look,
Harris Tavita.
Look, I just want to touch on that Sean O'Sullivan point. Now, you mentioned that finally there. You said next year, heading into next year, he'll be like that reserve, that backup halfback. And part of me thinks that may be why he didn't sign. Now again, these are all reports. We're not sure if they're official or not. Yeah. But, say that did happen. Part of me thinks that's the reason why he didn't sign is because he's going to be a backup. He doesn't see himself as a backup, That's what I'm assuming. But again, in saying that, we're going to have Sean Johnson and potentially Chanel Harris-Tavita, depending, playing for us next season. And to be fair with you, they're not the most durable sort of halves. So he could potentially have been being a starter. He could have potentially been a starter for the majority of the season. We don't know. So again, we'll just have to wait and see. Again, I hope everything I'm reading there is sort of false and he does re-sign. I hope so. Now, quickly on that Chanel Harris-Tavita sort of thing, I'm very surprised. I understand it, but you have your critics of him, right? You can probably look and say he's the future, which I think he is. He's definitely an integral part of the team. Or you got those people who say, well, good riddance, throw him out anyway. He's been lackluster. It sort of depends where you come from. But I think ultimately, look, this doesn't help us at all heading into next year, to be honest, especially in the halves department. We have a lack of serious depth there, and is actually quite concerning, I think, and something that needs to be examined, especially if O'Sullivan goes and Chanel Harris-Tavita goes. Who are we going to rely on? Nikorima, Sean Johnson, Reece Walsh is a fullback. There's no way, in my personal opinion, you're going to put him in the halves, no matter how desperate you are. Toy Harris, Sirinen. What are your thoughts? I mean, come on. I think this is actually quite a concerning sort of an issue that we've got to discuss. And I'm not looking forward to it if that is the case. If O'Sullivan and Chanel Harris-Tavita go, get ready for Sirinen and Toy Harris in the halves. What else do you expect?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on with that, actually. Bringing up that point, that's a fair point because, look, Tohu Harris is best in his position. He's not a half. With halves, well, we saw Looney put him there. In the past, we've seen, the halves is, a very important position in the side. Say what you say. Some people might say the forwards are important. The spine is such an important position in the club. And, the Warriors in the club history, have had a struggle with the spine, the fullback position through the 1, 6, and a 9, 7, and 9 position. That is why, we've struggled for recent success for me because, people might say the forwards, but for me, it's the halves, the spine. That is the important position in the side. Very important. So it's a bit of a concern, definitely. It's a bit of a concern, a bit of a worry at the club. For me, needs to, sort it out, make sure they sort it out and not make the wrong decision there because, it's really important moving forward that we can have a solid foundation there in the halves. And I still believe it's going to be Sean Johnson and Chanel Harris-Tavita in the halves. I still have my high regards to that. How should happen, really. I just think any other option would be just a massive letdown for me, a massive letdown. And yeah, in terms of injuries, Sean Johnson, that's still a bit of a worry and concern for me is Sean Johnson, can he play a full season next year? I really hope so. I have my fingers crossed for it. Going off recent history, my doubts, I have my doubts on recent. So, what happens if Sean Johnson gets injured? What happens if Savita put in there? If O'Sullivan's not there, that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, any last thoughts about it quickly? If you want to move on from it.
Yeah, look, no, I think we've covered it well. We'll just see what happens. But yeah, the Ash Taylor report is looking very strong as the days sort of go by. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and also, like I said, with the Ash Taylor thing, I did a video about it. So go check out the channel for that, where I gave my thoughts around it. On the pros and cons of signing Ash Taylor for next year. So go check that out on the channel. Go give it a watch. Go like and comment. Go check that out for a full little chat there about the current rumors around Ash Taylor. So yeah, look, is there any other thoughts or things you want to bring up before we do go? Here into the chat to Jamie. He says Kia from Taranaki. Hello to Jamie there. Hope you're well. But yeah, anyway, so you got any thoughts you want to discuss before we jump on out of here?
No, look, I think we've covered it well, considering, again, it's sort of like the finals. News is a bit slow regarding teams and all that stuff. It is what it is. No, I think we've covered it well. All I'm just saying is I'm looking forward to this weekend. I really hope by some miracle that Penrith Panthers win, honestly, because I got a feeling if Storm win this week, that's it, man. I think they'll beat whoever's in front of them, and I personally can't stand a back-to-back Storm win.
Yeah, exactly right. And also, you got quick thoughts on this actually. Before we head off, I'm sure yourself's got other things to do. You're quite busy at times, and myself will have other things to do. But quick thoughts on this: Dally M's. Now the Dally M are 2 nights in a row this week, which is I find this a bit odd, a bit strange doing this sort of. But the Dally M's actually off night is a bit which is a bit surprising. I thought you usually have it on one night, but it's going to go to 2 nights. But thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on the Daily M's 2 nights going into the finals? I mean, I personally think they should change the Daily M format around and have it before the finals instead of having it during the finals. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it anyway? And yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, look, the 2 night thing is interesting. It's odd. I don't even know why it's even put there in place. Now, in regards to the Daily M, well, obviously, I'm assuming we're just talking about who's going to win it potentially. You've got a few good candidates there as well. But again, just going off, based on what's happened so far, look, Tom Trbojevic is either one, or you'll go maybe Cleary, or maybe even Munster, just depending, I think. So, or Hughes, maybe even Hughes. But yeah, I think Tom Trbojevic is going to win it. But overall, yeah, like I said, yeah, surprises 2 nights. It's quite I don't think it's useful having it 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with the Dally M's, I personally think the favourite will be the likes of Nathan Cleary, Tommy too. I think a 2-horse race between those two. Actually, I think it'd be very close. But I personally think that Nathan Cleary will just edge it. Tommy Trbojevic there in terms of the Dally M, and there's also other categories like the Coach of the Year. Look, personally for me, Coach of the Year. Look, they'll probably give it to Craig Bellamy again. I think he'll get the Coach of the Year, but you can argue the case for the likes of Trent Robinson to get it possibly because he's done very well getting the Roosters to where they have. You've also got the likes of Ivan Cleary as well, but for me, Coach of the Year will probably go to Craig Bellamy because the Storm so consistent this year and they won the premiership. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Coach of the Year, who do you think will get it?
For me personally, I'll put down Trent Robinson in a heartbeat. I think he absolutely deserves it. I'm not even going to think about Bellamy getting it. So Trent Robbo for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the Rookie of the Year will be also up for grabs as well. Got likes of Reece Walsh, Sam Walker, and I think it'd be between those two, actually. You could argue that a few other players as well, but for me, it'd be probably obviously, I'm going to say be biased here and say Reece Walsh, but they'll probably give it to Sam Walker. I think they'll give it to Sam Walker because Reece Walsh just won the RLB Players Rookie of the Year. So, yeah, what do you think on that one?
Look, stats-wise, I think Reece Walsh is actually on top. That's what I think is in the stats. I do think, though, at the same time, Walker has sort of dropped off, particularly in the latter part of the season. He actually his form did drop off, obviously subsequently leading him to get benched, right? But obviously, if you're going based on just pure impact, then probably Walker wins. But I think I think Walsh is still in with a chance. Obviously, other rookies as well. There was Schuster, there was Laurie as well, Dane Laurie, that is, for the West Tigers. So yeah, again, a plethora of a few good other players, but maybe even Jaden Campbell too into that equation. But I think I think Reece Walsh is a smoky, but yeah, I think Walker wins it. But Reece Walsh smoky for me. So see what happens.
Yeah, and I think it also got the other positions as well, which are up for grabs. Got the NRL of the year. We've also got the fullback of the year. All those categories as well. Thanks to Hold the Ball for coming on the channel today to discuss, the NRL finals. We recap the NRL finals from week 2. If you want to go back and look at the start, we did that at the start of the stream. So if you haven't seen it, go back and check that out. Also, we discussed some Warriors news as well, and we also discussed strengths and weaknesses for both the finals teams, absolutely, both finals teams for the coming finals week 3 games. So, yeah, we've done all that. We've discussed all that. We've also discussed the Ash Taylor rumors as well. So, go back and watch it if you only just missed out, and check out the channel later on and give it a watch from the start of this stream. But first things first, I'd like to thank Hold the Ball for coming on the channel. I appreciate him for, having his time, giving up his time to have a chat with myself and coming on for this chat. But any last words, Hold the Ball, before we do get going?
No last words in particular. Just want to say thank you for having me on. And I'm looking forward to more sort of, collabs we're going to do. And obviously, I'm sure you and I have some good surprises, in store for the fans regarding videos and collabs together. So looking forward to it, man. Thank you.
Yep, just a quick comment. Yep, just a quick comment here from Jamie. He says Schuster went from a junior 6-star second row as a rookie. Yep, very interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Absolutely, he's had a good year. Schuster is a bit of a standout for Manly this year in terms of one of the rookie players. So yeah, he's had a good season, no doubt about it. But like I said, Hold the Ball for one. Go subscribe to the channel. His channel's doing very well. He's on 300 odd subscribers. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So go check his channel. I'll put a link in description below. Go give him a subscribe. Go watch his content. He does great stuff. Loves his American Rugby League as well. So if you're into that sort of stuff, go check that out as well. And no doubt myself and Hold the Ball will have plenty of collabs and stuff coming up. So yeah, thanks to Hold the Ball again for coming on the channel. Appreciate it very much. Go subscribe to this channel as well. Subscribe to this channel. Like the stream. Comment below if you're watching this back. Thanks guys for watching. And also, don't forget as well, more videos, content to come this week. Tomorrow night, like I said, we'll be tipping video 3 tips with Pro Enzos and Sam Revel, 7:30 time, 9:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Join me and Pro Enzos and Sam Revel for our tips for week 3 and a bit of a preview going through the games as well. But thanks guys for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, everyone, for tuning in.